Welcome to Energy Explained RI, where we take a closer look at some of the energy issues that impact our lives here in Rhode Island. Today, we're talking about energy use and climate change. Climate change is real. It's already having serious consequences, and it's on track to get worse in the years ahead. We can't ignore it, so let's talk about it. You probably already know the climate change basics. The burning of fossil fuels is warming the planet, which has a lot of negative impacts, not just on the environment, but on people and the economy too. In Rhode Island, we're already seeing sea level rise, shorter winters, longer summers, and more extreme weather events like intense storms and rainfall. It might sound like just weather, but these effects pose significant risks to our infrastructure, economy, environment, and public health. What's more, the burden of climate change is not distributed fairly. Communities of color and low-income populations are disproportionately harmed, both by the pollution from fossil fuel infrastructure and from the effects of climate change. So, what can we do about it? When it comes to addressing climate change, there are two main approaches: mitigation, which is about reducing greenhouse gases, and adaptation, which is about increasing our resilience to the impacts we experience. Climate change is a very complex challenge, and it's going to take a wide variety of solutions within both approaches. The mitigation approach focuses on transitioning away from fossil fuels and toward renewable energy sources like solar, wind, hydropower, and biofuels. In most cases, energy generated from renewable sources is now less expensive than traditional fossil fuels, so it makes sense economically. Another key piece of mitigation is reducing our overall energy consumption through energy efficiency. Energy efficiency allows us to do the same things, like heat and power our buildings, but use less energy to do it. This can include things like weatherizing buildings, efficient appliances, smart thermostats, and using energy at non-peak times. Climate mitigation also includes strategies that remove carbon from the atmosphere, like reforestation. The adaptation approach focuses on making our communities more resilient by bolstering our capacity to respond to the adverse effects of climate change. Here in Rhode Island, the state is working on both mitigation and adaptation. In 2021, the Rhode Island General Assembly passed the Act on Climate, an enforceable law that sets a mandatory statewide goal of net zero carbon emissions by 2050, with other required milestones in 2030 and 2040. The law directs the state's Executive Climate Change Coordinating Council, or EC4, to publish action plans for achieving these goals every 5 years. The EC4 consists of the directors from all relevant state agencies that can help drive the state's mitigation and adaptation work. The Act on Climate also requires the EC4's work to address climate-related inequities and support populations most vulnerable to the effects of climate change. So that's what's happening at the state level. Now, what can you do? You can start in your own home or business. First, take advantage of Rhode Island's programs to reduce your energy use. Then work toward electrifying your energy consumption with technologies like air source heat pumps, heat pump water heaters, efficient electric appliances, electric vehicles, and solar power. You can also stay informed about energy and climate issues and get involved with efforts to address climate change. Attend public meetings, join a local committee, or call your elected officials. There are so many ways you can help tackle climate change right here in the Ocean State. Climate change is happening now, and it's having serious consequences around the world and here in Rhode Island. We need to change the way we use energy by reducing overall energy use and transitioning from fossil fuels to renewable energy. Government policies are critical to making this happen, and so are you. To learn more and get connected, visit rieermc.ri.gov. Energy Explained RI is brought to you by the Rhode Island Energy Efficiency and Resource Management Council and the Rhode Island Office of Energy Resources.